Hey guys, Bluebridge here, and today it's time for our sporting directors to get it with both barrels. They're not getting off the hook. So this is farcical now. They've recalled Trevoh Chalobah. So guys, let's get into it. So, a guy deemed not good enough for the team. He didn't have the technical attributes, apparently, that was required for Moresco type football. So he was made surplus to requirements. So he gets loaned out to Crystal Palace. And now we've come with our tails between our legs, going back and saying we need him. So what's different from 6 months ago to now? Why do we need him all of a sudden? Yeah, I know we've got injuries to two of our centre backs, Wesley Fofana and Badiashile. But if this guy wasn't deemed good enough and we kept Disasi, we brought in Tosin, then surely they are the cover if the other two get injured. So obviously our directors of football don't know what they're doing, because for me, Chalobah is better than Tosin. He's better than Disasi. I wouldn't say that he's, a lot of our back fans are getting overboard and they're saying that he's a fantastic, he's a good defender, he's not a fantastic defender. If we want to win leagues, is he someone who's going to help us to win trophies? Probably not. But he's somebody who can help us for the here and now, and he's better than what we've got at the moment, barring a fit Fofana. And I'd even put him ahead of Colwill. Colwill's probably got more potential, but for the now, I'll say that he's better than Colwill. And people at Achapong, good potential, but still young, still inexperienced. Chalobah is somebody who loves the club. He's been at Chelsea from a kid. He's always wanted to make it here. He didn't want to leave. He was kind of forced out of the club, and the club treated him shambolically. The way they gave him the Ben Chilwell treatment. At one time, they said that he wasn't going to be training with them. I think the backlash of the fans heard it, and they sort of backtracked on that, and they allowed him to train with the first team squad. But then, as soon as they sort of pimping him off to anyone who will buy him, and then eventually he went on loan to Crystal Palace. I know a lot of our fan base are saying, if I was Trevor, I would tell them to stuff it. First of all, he's under contract at Chelsea, so you can't do that. But Trevor is, like me, he's a Christian, and he's not someone who's going to bear grudges. He's somebody who looks at things pragmatically. He looks like a forgive and forget type of guy. And when he comes here, he's not going to be no sulking around, because we've seen it before when he's been out of the fold under Poch. He came back. I think he was injured a bit, but he was out of the fold for a while, but then he came back and he had a decent end to the last season. So I think he'll come back, he'll give his all. And what he gives us, he can defend in wide areas. He can play as a right back as well. He's good at, he's a good ball carrier, good passer of the ball. I remember that goal, what was it when, I can't remember that, he did a pass through to Nicholas Jackson. Well, I think it was the West Ham game, fantastic ball to Nicholas Jackson when we were having that good spell towards the end of last season. And I think he scored that header against Tottenham as well. So we don't score from corners. I think he scored at least 3 or 4 from corners over the last season or two when he's been playing at Chelsea. So he's 6'3", he's given us that additional height. And so he will be, as I said, a good addition to what we've got at the moment. But as I said, that sort of underlines the poor strategy of our sporting directors, and they just want to get rid of all the sort of pure profits. It's a word that goes around a lot at Chelsea. So they want to get rid of him for pure profit. Now we've seen how Lewis Hall is doing at Newcastle. Fantastic performances by him. And we got rid of Conor Gallagher as well. I get it in some instances, But the reason why we had to sell these people off for pure profit is because of the people that we've bought in. So, okay, we had to balance the books, and the report came out, was it yesterday, of the PE, profit and sustainability report, and no Premier League teams fell foul of that, and Chelsea comfortably fell within that apparently. And obviously that's because of all the pure profit sales that we've made. But as I said, had we not bought in look at the people we've bought in, like David Washington, and where is he to be? You know, we've paid 20 million for him to be in our development team. We've got the Sassy, who's probably on his way out now. We're looking for buyers for the Sassy. Badia Shield's always injured. And is he going to be a long-term player for Chelsea? Fofana, good player, but injury prone. They're looking to flip Chukwuemeka already. And that's just a few of the players I've mentioned, but there are more. It will take me the whole video to go through the list of players who we've bought, and if we've bought who are not good enough, or bought and we want to flip them for a profit. The only who's a success is obviously Cole Palmer, the immediate one you think about as a success. Cucurella now has proven to be a success. Don't rate any of the keepers. And talking about keepers as well, we bought in, we spent what, 60-70 million on, or 60 million was it, on 2 keepers. And our sister club, in our Blue Co organisation, Sellers, we had him at Strasbourg, and he is now one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League. He's better than the 2 that we've got. We've seen it as some fantastic performances by him for Nottingham Forest. And our sporting directors, we could have got him for Chelsea, and he would have probably been, we could have been cheaper than the other 2 goalkeepers. Now we've strengthened Nottingham Forest and we've weakened ourselves with the goalkeepers that we've got. That makes sense. And I'll keep mentioning the poor building of the squad, 0 experience, 0 leadership. And then we're talking, because I've mentioned that how they look at Tosin as our leader. They call him daddy or uncle or whatever in the changing room. Yeah, okay, I'm not knocking his leadership qualities, but he's somebody who we've bought him from Fulham. He has never seen he doesn't know what it's like to win leagues or anything else. So there's no one to guide these youngsters when it comes through the difficult periods or when the pressure's on. Because yesterday we saw a good example of when the pressure's on, when things are going against us, how we fail to react. And that's because we've got a young side with no experience. Okay, we've got a bit of it. And as I said, Tosin's 26. Our most experienced player is 26. Reece James is he showed a bit of leadership, Reece James, yesterday, I'd say, with that winner and the way he commanded the ball of Cole Palmer. But a lot of the others are just in need of more experience. And as I said, I've been crying out for more experience for ages. And this squad, the way it's been built, as I said, it's an unbalanced squad, but also it was one injury away from being, because of the unbalance of the squad, 1 or 2 injuries away from dismantling our season, or people going out of form. And we've seen that, because obviously Fofana injured and there's no proper backup for him, hence the recall of Trevoh Chalobah. We know the frailties of the midfield, so we've got the injury-prone Lavia, and we've got a player in for Fernandez who needs a rest, because you see him tiring in games. You see now the effects of overplaying Caicedo, because Caicedo yesterday, he just didn't look fit. He looked like he was running on empty. He covers a lot of ground, and we've seen that there's no backup for him. And then we've seen what happens with Nicholas Jackson when he gets out of form. And he was always, even Haaland in his great season last year, there were 3 or 4 games where he didn't score, but there are other people who can take the pressure off. We've got no one to take the pressure off Nicholas Jackson, because we've got an 18-year-old kid and no other backup, and Cuckoo doesn't even want to play in that position. So poorly assembled squad by these sporting directors, and they need more accountability, because they haven't assembled. They spent a lot of money and haven't assembled a good enough squad. We've got the signs are there of having if we can sort out these vital areas, then we can compete in the future. But it's very fragile, as I said. It can't be having 4 or 5 players in one position and strong in one position where you can't even play your João Felixes and then Cuckoos, because you've got 2 or 3 number 10s. But yeah, you've got no other position. And I don't want to keep repeating myself. I think I've said this a few times, but I've been consistent in my messaging, or even when we've been, near the top of the table. I said it's good, but it's only we've not been built on solid foundations. We've been built on the sandy foundations and on rock. It's all coming to, the chickens are coming home to roost at the moment. So these sporting directors, please do a better job. So if anything, not to derail our season, getting a striker to help Jackson out, somebody with a different profile, be screaming for that all season. We brought in Chalobah now. Can we get cover for our midfielders, because we've got no cover for them? They've been overplayed, and now you're seeing, especially in the second half of games, where fatigue comes in. Bournemouth outran us yesterday as our players' fatigue, and that's been that's been a feature of the last few games. So that needs to be addressed as well. So guys, what do you think, sporting directors? Isn't there's one available from Atletico Madrid, I can't remember his name now, who we were linked with last year? Would that be an option? Getting in somebody who quite clearly knows what they're doing, and not somebody who's just bringing in all these kids and without any thought of what's going to happen later. Let me know what you think. Comment section below. Like, subscribe, turn on post notifications to get notified every time I make a new video. So